I just want to come in and say hello. It is actually raining right now, and I hope you guys are staying nice and cool. It is a heat wave, or it's a dome of heat over the southeast. It shows a lot of you have been experiencing degrees closer to 100 degrees. I know we have, and I wanted to come out and say hello and just do a quick video. I hadn't done one in a while. I want to let you know how grateful I am to God for this rain. I've been worrying about our plants. Some of you have some plants. Maybe that's your hobby. Maybe that's your living. Maybe you make a living out of the rain, and the plants, and maybe something in agriculture. But I just wanted to come in and see how you're doing, let you know a little bit about what's been going on. Yeah, I'm real grateful that this weather, look at this weather. I just want to come in and do a relaxing video. It's been really tough with the heat. I know most of you know that if you've ever visited Florida, or if you've ever been to Florida, it gets pretty hot over here. And I'm used to the heat. I'm not complaining about the heat. I could take the heat because we have plenty of water. We have I have spring water, we have well water, so it's real cold. But the mosquitoes and the ants and the bugs, and if you're, weed whacking plants, I'm allergic to pretty much elephant ears and potato vines and all the different plants that could make you itch. So I've been using a lot of peppermint oil. So if you are looking for an anti-itch peppermint oil, I just do a blend of it, and I'll show you what I put it in. You guys are gonna laugh. I'm old school. We save stuff. Let me show you what I'm making. I put it in an old Windex bottle. Yep. And I just add alcohol, and I get some peppermint essential oil and mix that. Sometimes I'll put some eucalyptus oil. Sometimes I will put lavender, anything with menthol, lemongrass, but mainly peppermint. I should package this in a Windex bottle. It's the best way. And it sprays a lot. And yesterday, I was out there weed whacking, so a lot of the plant parts, like the plant guts, it gets on my skin, and I'm so allergic to it. It feels like fire ants are all over my skin. So if anybody knows what I'm talking about, if you do yard work, or if you're in the garden, or if you're outside a lot like I am, you know what I'm talking about. So I just want to continue sharing my experience, my path. I'm in a lot better place than I was a few years ago, where I dealt with some challenges in my life. And some of you have dealt with challenges in your life, with your life. Maybe people that have challenged you. Maybe you've dealt with people that are in your family, that are your partners, that have had addictions. And a lot of people say, oh, well, if they're drinking, or if they're doing drugs, or if they're not hurting anyone. But actually, you do. Because some of those addictions, and I'm not talking about having a drink or two, every once in a while. What I'm talking about are people that you love that are overindulging in substances that change their personality, change their behavior. And in the Bible, they talk about alcohol, which is wine, and strong drink, which could be beer, it could be liquor. And God is not talking about, he's not condemning it, but what he is talking about is drunkenness, doing it excessively, doing anything excessively, really. But I'm specifically talking about drinking, because in my life, I used to be a heavy drinker, especially in my 20s in college. but by the grace of God, that wasn't my, thank God, I was able to overcome that addiction or that phase in my life. Some people, and I know a lot of people struggle with alcoholism, and, you know, I know it's difficult. So whether it's you that's struggling right now with putting the bottle down, that's maybe you don't feel like you have a problem, maybe you don't feel like you're affecting others. If you're drinking excessively, if you're drinking every single day, and you live with someone, you have children, you have a job, and you work with people that aren't drinking, that are not drinkers, they notice, and it does affect others. And I know and I understand that there is a certain shame to it, with whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs. And again, I'm not giving medical advice. I am not a doctor, so please do not deem this as medical advice, excuse me, because I'm not trying to do that. What I am suggesting or letting you know is that you can get help. You could do it professionally. You could also find some support out there. There's a lot of different programs that are religious based, that are faith based, that are Christian based, or find that place in that will give you that support. Well, again, whether it's medically or psychologically, maybe it's through some type of treatment. But we are all connected, and in my life I have been affected a lot by either people that have passed through drinking, drunk drivers, people I've known that have died in drinking accidents, people that have, you know, their whole personality changed. So we want to be mindful for that, because there are those entities, those negative spirits. I believe they're demonic spirits, but you know, you don't have to label it any way. But we do have free will. God gives us free will. And so I'm not going to go and talk about all my experiences, because, you know, we can't change others. All you can do is really change your own situation. And, you know, I've been in many situations where, you know, the people close to me had issues with drinking, and, you know, you think you could change them or try to influence them. Yes, try to influence people positively, and maybe not make them feel ashamed of what their addiction is, or make them feel like there's something wrong with them, but actually go out and seek help. Because, you know, there's so many people that pass or are affected by alcoholism and drug addiction, and these are two things that I no longer partake in. Maybe it's maturity, maybe it's just age, maybe it's just, you know, it serves no purpose in my life anymore. It really doesn't. By the grace of God, was able to go through those phases of my life, and, you know, I'm a totally different person from that. And so if you're the person that's on the other end that either lives with an alcoholic or is battling like physically or mentally or emotionally battling others that have that addiction, find a way to either get that person some help or remove yourself from the situation, because a lot of times it doesn't end well. So this was just a really quick thought I had on my spiritual path. Right now I am still in the Old Testament, I know. But you know, I'm busy doing a lot of things for the house and for the yard and my garden, and taking care of a few things. I've got a lot on my plate, just like you do. But if this is an issue in your life, whether it's your addiction or someone that you care about, first of all, I commend you. I pray for you that there will be a solution for your circumstance. Living with an alcoholic is not fun. I've done it. I live with it. It really is not good for your own mental health, and it could be very dangerous. And you know, the 10 years that I lived with someone who had alcoholism, you know, that had that issue, was very difficult, and I had to really walk away from that situation. I really did. You know, sometimes you feel like you could fix people and you could change them, and through my study of the Bible and acceptance and forgiveness, I know that the only person who could change that person is himself. So you could only change yourself through some type of revelation in your life, some type of awakening, some type of realization and self-reflection. So, you know, I love you guys. This was just a thought because it's something that I've dealt with in my life that I could speak on.